out of glory appeared to our father Abraham while he was still in Mesopotamia, before he lived in Haran. Leave your country and your people. And God said, go to the land I will show you. So he left the land of the Chaldeans and settled in Haran. And after the death of his father, God sent him to this land where you are now living. He gave him no inheritance here, not even a foot on the ground. But God promised him that he and his descendants after him would possess the land, even though at that time Abraham had no child. God spoke to him in this way: your descendants will be strangers in a country not their own, and they will be enslaved and mistreated for 400 years. But I will punish the nation they serve as slaves. God said, and afterwards they will come out of that country and worship me in this place. Then he gave Abraham the covenant of circumcision, and Abraham became the father of Isaac and circumcised him 8 days after his birth. Later, Isaac became the father of Jacob, and Jacob became the father of the 12 patriarchs. Because the patriarchs were jealous of Joseph, they sold him as a slave to Egypt, but God was with him and raised him from all his troubles. He gave Joseph wisdom and enabled him to gain the goodwill of Pharaoh, the king of Egypt, so he made him ruler over the king over Egypt and all his palace. Then famine struck all Egypt and Canaan, bringing great suffering, and our fathers could not find food. When Jacob heard that there was grain in Egypt, he sent our fathers on their first visit. On their second visit, Joseph told his brothers who he was, and Pharaoh learned about Joseph's family. After this, Joseph sent his father Jacob and his whole family, his 75 in all. Then Jacob went down to Egypt, where he and our fathers died. Since their bodies were brought back to Shechem and placed in the tomb that Abraham had brought from the sons of Hamor at Shechem for every certain sum of money. As the time drew near, God, to fulfill his promise to Abraham, the number of our people in Egypt greatly increased. Then another king who knew nothing about Joseph became ruler over Egypt. He dealt treacherously with our people and oppressed our forefathers by forcing them to throw out their newborn babies so that they would die. At that time Moses was born, and he had no ordinary child. For 3 months he was cared for in his father's house. When he was placed outside, Pharaoh's daughter took him in and brought him up as her own son. Moses was educated in all the wisdom of the Egyptians and was powerful in speech and action. When Moses was 40 years old, he decided to visit his fellow Israelites. He saw one of them being mistreated by an Egyptian, so he went to his defense and avenged him by killing the Egyptian. Moses thought that his own people would realize that God was using him to rescue him, but they did not. The next day Moses came up upon 2 Israelites who were fighting. He tried to reconcile them by saying, men, you are brothers, why do you want to hurt each other? But the men who mistreating the other pushed Moses aside and said, why
don't you head outside?
Oh yeah, okay.
We're ready.
Okay. Oh wait, sorry. Almost. But the man who was mistreating the other pushed Moses aside and said, who made you ruler and judge over us? Do you want to kill me as you killed the Egyptian yesterday? When Moses heard this, he fled to Midian, where he settled as a foreigner and had 2 sons. After 40 years had passed, an angel appeared to Moses in the flames in a burning bush in the desert near Mount Sinai. When he saw this, he was amazed at the sight. He went over to look more closely, and he heard the Lord's voice. 早く日本語で読む。最初はその通りかと尋ねた。すぐステファノが言った。兄弟たち、父をお聞きください。私たちの祖父アブラハムがカナンに住む前、まだメソポタミアにいた時、栄光の神が彼に現れて仰せになった。あなたの土地と家族が離れてあなたに指し示す地に行きなさい。そこアブラハムはカルデア人の地を出てカナンに住んだ。そこで、彼の父が死んだ後、神は彼をそこから今あなた方の住んでいるこの地に移住させたが、そこは遺産となるものは何一つ一歩の幅の土地すらも与えられなかった。ただその地を所領として 授けようとの約束を彼と、そして彼にまだ子がなかったのに、その子孫に与えられたのである。神はこう仰せになった。彼の子孫は他国に身を寄せるであろう。そしてそこで40年の間、奴隷にされて虐待を受けるであろう。それからさらに仰せられた。彼らを奴隷にする国民を私は裁くであろう。その後彼らはそこから逃れ出て、この場所で私を礼拝するであろう。そして神はアブラハムに活例の約束を与えになった。こうして彼はイサクの父となり、これに8日目に、活例を施し、それからイサクはヤコブの父となり、ヤコブは12人の族長たちの父となった。族長たちは、ヨセフを妬んで、エジプトに売り飛ばした。しかし、神は彼と共にいまして、あらゆる苦難から彼を救い出し、エジプトのパロの前で恵みを与え、知恵を現れた。そこでパロは彼の総称に、任せに仕え、エジプト並びを全家族全体の、支配に与えられた。王家全体の支配に与えられた。時にエジプトとカナンの全土にわたって飢饉が起こり、大きな苦難が襲ってきて、私たちの先祖たちは食物を得られなくなった。ヤコブはエジプトに食料があると聞いて、初めに先祖たちを使わした。2回目の時にヨセフは兄弟たちに自分の身を打ち明かされたので、彼の親族の関係がパロにされてきた。ヨセフは使いをやって、父ヤコブと75人に上る親族一同を招いた。こうしてヤコブはエジプトに下り、彼自身も先祖たちもそこで死に、それから彼はシケムに移されて、かねてアブラハムがいくらかの金を出して、この地のハモヌの子らから買っておいた墓に葬られた。神がアブラハムに対して立てられた約束の時が近づくにつれ、民は震えてエジプト全土に広がった。やがてヨセフのことが知られない別の王がエジプトに起こった。この王は私たちの同族に対し、策略を巡らして、先祖たちを虐待し、その幼子らを生かしておかないように捨てさせた。モーセが生まれたのはちょうどその頃である。彼が稀に見る美しい子であった。3日目の間は父の家で育てられたが、その後捨てられたのをパロの娘が拾い上げて自分の子として育った。モーセはエジプト人のあらゆる学問を教え込まれ、言葉にも技にも力があった。40歳になった時、モーセは自分の兄弟であるイスラエル人たちのために尽くすことを思い立てた。ところが一人がいじめられているのを見て、これをかばい、虐待されているその人のため、相手のエジプト人を奪って仕返しをした。彼は自分の手によって神が兄弟たちを救ってくださることを皆が悟るものと思っていたが、実際はそれを悟らなかったのである。翌日モーセは彼らが争い合っているところに現れ、仲裁しようとしていった。待て、君たちは兄弟同士ではないか。どうして互いに気付け合っているのか。Alright. Okay. So, I was reading the 5-1 chapter.